Hi guys, so I wanted to make the video a tutorial video that goes with the wedding countdown and show you the one that I did, but also just know that this could be a countdown for anything. This one says, you know, blank days until we say I do, but it could be, you know, till the birth of your baby, till your kid goes back to school, whatever it is. So let's get started. Today I'll just do the one from the blog image. So the first thing I did is I wanted to use the heart image. So let's go to images. And I think it was something until Mr. and Mrs. It was something like that. And you're going to see, here it is, blank days until we're Mr. and Mrs. So I like the concept of this, and I like that what it said and things like that, but I didn't like that it was I guess it was so limited to it's Mr. and Mrs. only. So I wanted to customize it so that anybody can use it, because not everybody be a Mr. and Mrs. They're Mr. and Mr. and Mrs. and Mrs. So I just wanted to make sure everyone had an option to be able to do their own sign. So if you can see this one, I love the heart, and I love the way Days looks with the font. But I don't want the rest of this. So if you can see up here, I can ungroup this and move the heart out of the way. So we'll use that later. Unfortunately, this is all one piece. There's no option to ungroup. There's no option to detach. It's all one piece. So it's forcing me to use as is. But I'm going to teach you two tricks on how you can use an image that looks like it's locked, and you can only use it as is instead of customizing it. The first one that I'm going to show you is, if you see down here to the bottom right, there's the contour feature. So I click on that, and this one, and it shows up at 233, so I have to make that smaller. So I can see the whole word. So this one works, except this one, there's a lot more steps to it than the second option I'm going to show you. But this is definitely one way of doing it. So you'll see everything that's contoured, meaning everything that's going to print. I only want days. So I'm going to start clicking on each individual either letter or little insert inside a letter. And as you see, as I do that, it sort of shadows it out. It becomes like you know, this is going to print because it's the brighter, and anything that's like in a shadow, that's not going to print. Or cut, I'm sorry. I have the worst habit of saying print. It's not a printer. This is my Cricut cutting machine. So I have to unhighlight everything, remove it. And now you see everything that's going into like a very light gray shade. That means that is no longer going to be cutting on the machine. So now you'll see it's only days is the only thing that's the darkest part. Let me go down, make sure there's no other little pieces. That's it. Then when I X out of it, there it is. Everything else is gone, and days is all by itself, and you can just use that word. So that's one way if you have a project and you feel like you just want a section of it, not the whole thing, and it's locked and it's forcing you to use it one way. You don't have to. We get around that. Now I'm going to show you a second way. So let me bring that same image back in. Let's see. Let's find it again. Here it is. Insert image. I'm going to show you a second way that we can do that. This one's a little faster, but you know what? I like to provide options. You ungroup it so we can get this heart out of the way. Let me just delete it. And again, this is locked. No option of ungrouping. You can tell that it's only one layer because it's all together here under the cut option. It doesn't break it out into different layers. So what I like to do is I like to use the slice feature, which is down here. So right now you see that it's grayed out, which means there's nothing to slice. There's no options to use. So I get a shape. Square will work just fine because this is pretty much what I want to cut out. Seems to be a square shape. So this doesn't cover the whole thing. So what you can do is at the bottom left hand corner of the square, you see that little lock. If you click on it, it's now unlocked, meaning I can turn this shape. It's still going to be, you know, in the format of either a rectangle or a square, but I can make it longer. I can make it wider. So I want to make it wider to cover what I need to slice out, and then move it in a way that it slices everything except what I want to keep. So you see there's a little space. Let me zoom in a little bit. Wow, I zoomed in a lot. So you see there's a little space right here, the white space. So that we want to make sure that there's a space in between. So you highlight everything. And then now you see the slice feature has come into play, which is now highlight it, and when you click on that, see, it took 2 seconds to do that, and now you know it worked because you see the words literally sliced out of the rectangle that we put there. See? So this no longer needed. We delete that, and you just keep what you need. And you can do that with any image that you feel you just want to use a portion of. So let's continue this. So it's going to be blank days until we say. So let me type in the rest of the stuff. Until we say, and the font that I like to use for this, I'm going to use, it's a Cricut font. It's called the Child's Ear, and I like it because it's easy to read, but it still has like this little, you know, funkiness to it. It's not like a regular Times Roman or straight font, but I like it that way. And you can use any font you want when you do this. This is just the one that I used, and then I'm just going to keep it in full caps because that's that's the main thing. You're counting down till you say I do. So the one thing that we need is I'm going to put a shape as a background because I want to set the parameters based on the space that I'm going to put this on. And I'm putting this on a chalkboard, sort of like a little pedestal chalkboard. And I know that the width is 9 inches and the height is 6 inches. So I want to set this box to those same measurements so then I could lay out my design, and then I know exactly that it's going to fit before I go cut it. I don't want to have to do, you know, cut it and then it doesn't fit on my project, on my actual design. So to change this into the margins that I need, I go up here to the toolbar, and under size, I unlock the little key here. And I know that I want my width to be 9, and I know I want my height to be 6. So this is what we have to work with. This is the space, and everything I want has to fit within this space so that it fits in the chalkboard pedestal that I'm going to use. So now you see everything is in the back, and I need everything to be in the front. So if you click on the image, you can go to arrange and just hit send forward, and it'll bring it to the front. And you can do that for each piece that's in the back. Now, as you can see, actually, I'm going to turn the days into white because I'm going to use white vinyl for the words so that it can stand out. And I'm going to use a lighter pink on this so it could stand out more. So yeah, the word days and all of the text, I'm going to use white vinyl because it's going to be on the black chalkboard. So I'm going to turn all the words into white and then move everything send to the front, and then we will sort of resize. So as you can tell, I'm missing the text that I put until we say, and you can't see it, it's behind. So you can move this around and try and find it and then try and bring it to the front. That's a pain in the butt. You can go into your layers panel and look for the layer that's the word. And when you click on it on the layers panel itself, it'll highlight it. And you don't see it because it's behind the square. But if you can still bring it to the front, you hit arrange, send to the front, and there it is. So even if you don't see it and you know it exists somewhere in your design space canvas, because that has happened to me. I've lost some words and I don't know where it is. I go up to the layers and then it'll find it for me. It'll highlight it. Okay. So until we say I do this, I'm going to make a little bigger because that's the key. So I'm going to move down. I'm not going to make this as big. I want to center this over here, and I want to make this heart a little bigger. And you just play with it. That's all you have to do is sort of like resize it to what works for you. And how big and how small and what you want, words you want to highlight or not highlight. And that's how that's really how I do it. Just drag this over, move it over until we say, I like the I do, that size, that's nice. And then I want to bring some rings in here. So let's go back into images. And just for the sake of the video, so it's not too lengthy, just you get the gist of it, I'm just going to put wedding rings. And we'll just take these traditional sets that are here and insert that. But again, you find the image that works for you. If you want 2 bands or one with an engagement, one with not engagement ring, whatever works for you. I'm going to make these silver. It's going to look like a silver here, but it's going to be like a glitter vinyl, which I like. Okay, so that's it. That's simple. And then you can just, you know, once you're done and you like the design and you like the layout, the spacing, and you can resize it to whatever you're going to use it on. Then once you're done, you hit make it. And that's it. Everything that's going to be in the white vinyl will print in one canvas. The rings, which are gray, will print in another canvas. And then the last piece is the heart, and that'll print in a separate each one, so that you know the colors that you want to use. This little box, what I should have done, since we don't need that box, is at the end, before you hit make it, you just hide that. That's what you just hide it. And you can also just highlight your entire design and just group it. It's still, when you hit make it, and I'll do that in a second, it'll still print. It'll still go into separate canvases based on their color, but this just keeps your project organized on your actual canvas design space, so that you know how you have it, so it's not pieces everywhere. And that's it. And I love that. I love the way it looks. It's simple, and sometimes, you know, simple is all you need. So thank you so much. This is Arlene from A Crafty Latina, and I'm going to bring you how to actually put this all together next. Hi guys, so I'm back, and now I cut out all of my pieces, the rings, the heart wreath, and all of the words, and I want to weed them out and put them on our surface. Sorry. So let me start by weeding this out. Just a little harder because I need to figure out exactly what pieces are supposed to stay on the ring. So I just like to weed all the extra out first. And this was like an extra piece that I have, like an extra scrap. Always keep your scraps. If you don't use like a full piece of vinyl, always keep those scraps. They come in so handy, super handy. So, hold on, I think. Okay, so I just have the picture on the side just for reference. I don't want to weed out the wrong part of this. So I just want to know what's going to be the white part and what isn't. So this I'm following one piece. Okay, so that's garbage. Just stick it over here somewhere. Sorry. Then this part is showing me this comes out. And then on this side for sure. The middle. This is the Cricut, I want to say it's called foil vinyl, and I like it. Some people have a problem cutting it and what setting. I put it on a light cardstock setting. I know I'm supposed to put the foil setting, but sometimes that doesn't work and I have to give it a second pass or something. So I've, you know, over the years, I've sort of figured out what works, what doesn't. And on this, a light cardstock setting works perfectly for the one pass only. And that does it for me. Like, you know, you have to figure out your groove and what works for you. Standard cut, like for vinyl, like for regular vinyl or the iron-on, I do use the settings, the proper settings. But this one, when it's like a tricky thing like this, I sort of like to figure it out. The foiled one didn't work. Sorry, for some reason now I have a tickle in my throat. So that's the rings. I love it. It came out really cute. Once we put it on the board, it'll look really nice. And then now let's weed out the heart. Okay, so let's do the heart. I want to start, it's a little tricky because I don't want the leaves to get stuck. So I do want to do the outside first. And then I may want to just cut. I'm like, what am I doing? All right, so I like to just pick a corner. And let's just do the outside border. That will go pretty quickly. It's looking to do the inside, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab a pair of scissors because I don't want it to get stuck with our inside petals. And I'm just gonna cut right here. Make this 2 different weedings. Since this was open here, there's a little opening here, it wants to take it up as 1 piece. But if I do that, I'm gonna mess up the interior petals. There's too much loose vinyl. It'll all stick on it. So you can just cut it and do 1 part first, get rid of that, and then do the interior. I think that's safer. And you may even want to like just start cutting. Let's see. Let's do it from the end. And just help with your little tool, just a little weeding tool, just sort of give it a little push so it go to the end. Do 1 side at a time. Just make sure your petals don't, your little leaf designs or petals don't get caught up on the interior of the vinyl. Then the second side goes really quickly. Much better. I was wondering how I was going to do that, but that looks adorable. So we got our rings, we got our heart, now we have our words. This is the word days. You can weed before or after. So if you wanted to weed before, like you can clearly see where the spots are that you have to take the vinyl, which is all like inside the D, the A, the little loop at the top of the S, and on the bottom of it, and the little inside of the Y. And I think that's it. And then you can just take out, again, it's hard sometimes to find a corner, so I just like stab it and just pull it. And that's days. I like it. So far, so good. We're doing good. I like vinyl all over the place. That's that. So this is the big I do. So this is easy to weed. That you can see a mile away, these big letters. And again, just grab a corner. And get rid of the excess vinyl. And the last one is until we say. So it's just a couple of areas. So the A, the inside of the E. Oh, I think that is it. Everything else will come out. Have you ever woken up with like vinyl on your face? Because that has happened to me. I'm trying to find a little piece, or my eyes always, I lose the dots of my eyes. Oh my God, how frustrating. And then I end up finding it, you know, on my pants, on my face, in my hair. I have found it in my hair. So try and make sure every little piece is accounted for, because I have left the house with vinyl in my hair. And that's okay. It happens. Okay, until we say. So there we go. So now we have everything weeded. Let's get our surface. So this is my little surface. And I'll put a picture at the bottom, but I got this at Hobby Lobby and it was on a discount. If you go on their website, and I'll put a link on the blog. If you go to the blog on the picture, I'll put a link, but I think they have it on sale now for like 12 and change, like after Christmas, holiday, or Valentine type sales. So let's do this. I think I'll start with the heart because I feel like that's gonna frame where I'm gonna put everything else. So let's find some transfer paper. Almost forgot that part. Just cut out a piece. And I have a lot of the Cricut transfer paper, but I also have another one that I get on Amazon, which I like because it comes with lines. And listen, I am like not the best with this stuff. I'm just cutting it off camera. I'll be right back in 1 second. The lines sometimes you need to help you align it. So this is what I use. And I get it on Amazon. It's like a bunch, like a big thing. I think I cut like way too much. I need this much. I'm gonna cut past this line here. see, the biggest thing I have to do is this one, and it fits in there. So I'm just gonna cut, save myself some transfer paper. Although it's reusable, after I use it for this project, I'll probably 1, 2, 3, 4, like there's 5 pieces that I'm gonna use it for. I'm not sure how sticky it'll be after, but this is pretty inexpensive, so that's why I like just getting it. And it comes in a large roll. So let's start with that. Wow, that just like came right up. Don't mess up. It's like staticky. Okay, so finish it off so that I think my camera just went wacko. Make sure you do it so that everything's on there. You just check a little area, make sure that it's sticking. It looks pretty good. And we're good. So we bring the surface, and now this I want it on the like top corner. So we'll do it here. Let's see where this is gonna end up. Yeah, I like it there. So it's straight. So you just put it down. And on this surface, I think it'll adhere pretty well, but you just always want to make sure you give it a good pass with your tool so it could stick on, and then just slowly start lifting one corner. And as you can see on this, it really nice. Okay, so now let's do days. So move this out. Let's put our days on here. I use the same piece. You know, it's bigger than what I'm gonna put on there, but that's okay. Listen, we're all about reusing and saving money. The same piece can be multi-purpose. I don't need a new piece of transfer tape every time I'm gonna do something. So that one, you see that it's lifting up and it's not. Oh my God, this camera is annoying. For some reason, this thing didn't lock. The arm isn't locked to stay in one place. I don't know why, but it's annoying me. Sorry, making you dizzy. Okay. So this one's extra pass. Let's start. So if you see what gives you a little trouble in some areas, just go slowly, move it around, and it'll happen. Okay, bring back our surface. And I want days. Just bend over. Okay. Stand up. So I want days right here. This is one it was no problem for it sticking. It may just be like, go on it with my finger. It may just, yeah. I love this surface. So much easy. So much easier than others for things to stick. It's perfect. Now the next one is Until We Say. Just get that on there. See where we are. The A. Some letters are a little stubborn, but so am I. It's not gonna beat me. We get it done. Okay. Looking good. There. See, I almost lost the dot of my eye. Not today. What is that? Just have to be a little patient sometimes. If the vinyl isn't sticking, you just turn it upside down as well, and then you just go slowly and just give it a hand. If it's not sticking, you'll see a little corner. You hold it down onto the transfer tape. And just give it that little nudge that it needs. And there you go. And this I want here till we say perfect. Again, I'm just going to use my finger. Oh my god, this camera. I am so sorry, guys. I have to figure out why it's not locking. I hope I didn't miss a lot of the stuff, but it was really just getting the until we say on here. Why does that dot do this to me all the time? A little dot. I've lost so many, and then I have to go back and cut just one little dot so that I can have the eye, the dot for the eye. It's happened to me a million times. You just go carefully, and you see if the letters are having trouble, you just go over it. There we go. Almost there, guys, almost there. Thank you for hanging in there with me, even through my crazy camera. Make sure. Okay, this is I do. So I turned the transfer paper over because maybe it's losing the stickiness on the other side. So let's go over here. Let's see if it picks this up. It's just being stubborn today. But that's okay. Again, you turn it over. Just go down. And there you go. The I do will be right here. This is going to go all the way down. Just hold it there. I'm going to do it with my finger. I'm going to use the tool so I can get into that edge because I want it to get to the bottom. There. And then just slowly peel it back. Okay. Last but not least, our rings. Cute. Excited to see it all done. I love this little countdown. I'm gonna go have to find me some chalk so that we can actually write on this and put a number. Okay, let's see. Yeah, well, he wants to be stubborn, but whatever. Our projects are never easy, right? We need to make it work. We make it work. And then the last piece of our rings. Oh my god, I think this looks so cute. This over here. I think this is adorable. This crazy camera. And there you have it. There's our sign. I love it. I hope you love it too. Thanks for sticking with me. And again, this is Arlene from A Crafty Latina. Follow me on Facebook and on my blog. I'll put the links underneath. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.